What's going on, everyone? It's Andres, and welcome to this tech stream. This is going out to just a select few over on, was it LinkedIn, Rumble, and YouTube. So you have to forgive me ahead of time. I'm a little worse for wear today. Allergy flare up. It's been an annoying past couple of nights. But anyway, just got a few things that I'm going to be going over first, and I wanted to address the first look at the operating system that Unplug is delivering on prior to their relaunch. Okay, so first thing I'm going to go over, and I'm going to end this with some Q&A, but it will probably be more of the comments that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I'm saving it for the end because yesterday I dropped an episode of an interview with the host of Crossroads. His name is Joshua Philipp, and he does a show over on the Epoch Times. You can see it on Epoch TV, Epoch Times, YouTube, Gangjin World, and others. And we talked about Taiwan and China and a lot of that stuff. And we also touched on the technology side and how much the world depends on the chipsets coming from Taiwan and how the whole world's moving to AI. So you're going to need those chipsets. So with the ever-present rising tensions in the Indo-Pacific, we ended up talking about this, and I had someone chime into the comments that I think made very well reasoned arguments from his side. We just have a different worldview as to what we're coming from on these things. So, and as I expected, right on cue. So let me, you know what? I'm going to have to play this thing here, and I'll get back to you guys. I'll cut it off midstream. Okay. And I'm back. I'm sorry, I just there was an emergency call I had to take, but well, that's out of the way. Okay, so for those of you just tuning in, this is just going out to those of you on LinkedIn, Rumble, and YouTube. I will be doing a walkthrough of the new OS, or the refreshed OS, I should say, for Unplugged. And that's going to be the bulk of this episode, but there's going to be a couple of items that I want to cover before I get to that. And after I talk all this tech stuff, I will address some comments that I received on my latest episode in an interview that I did with Joshua Philipp. It's up everywhere. So if you're on Rumble, it's there. YouTube, it's there. Gangjin World, it's there. I don't know if I posted it to LinkedIn as a video or as a link, but it should have been there. But it's on Play TV and X, so it's getting play everywhere. And I knew it was gonna ruffle some feathers because I made some I'm absolute and resolute in my positions on my views on Taiwan. So that brought some some comments, but I actually appreciated the exchange. So I'm going to be highlighting that here, and if so and so will be watching, I will mention it to you in the comments that I address, and that's going to be after I talk about the tech. But the first thing I want to cover on this stream is, well, it's pretty quick. I don't have much to say about the Google event. Last week when I did my stream and I was previewing what Google was bringing to the table, I said I wasn't that excited. And now that the event has come out, yeah, there's some things that I liked. I'm not, well, just some things that I liked, and that's it. I just thought it wasn't that big of a deal. So I have the Pixel 9 Pro in hazel. So, that one, I actually like that color, and it matches a Pixel tablet that I have. So I just thought it was very uniform and cohesive, also with the headphones. But now this Moonstone color is their hero color, and it's nice. It looks like, you know what it reminds me of, the Moonstone? It almost sounds like it's like a Pokemon thing, because I just thought about, what, Clefairy or Clefable, whatever it is, you need the Moonstone to evolve them. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked with Pokemon, but that's what I thought of. And like, oh, So the evolution requires a moonstone. But anyway, that it just looks like the old one. There's just no SIM tray anymore. It's all eSIM. It has the latest Tensor chip, okay, but I've never been a fan of Tensor, so that's not really saying much. But the only thing that would stand out to me, and believe me, I tried to watch the event, but I put it on mute because I could just not. I just can't stand Jimmy Fallon. I can't. I just can't. Anyway. I don't want to get into it. Some people might think it's political. It's not political. It's before he ever went, like mainstream. So anyway, the one good thing I did, I did like hearing was that the 10 Pro Fold. Oh my goodness, add more names to that. Is IP68 water and dust resistant. That deserves a round of applause. Good for you, because that's more so than I could say for the Fold 7 that I have here from Samsung. And that's great. I mean, the thing is massive. It's chunky, and looks the same as last year's for the most part. Just a new color for me, but of course, new Tensor chip, and I think it's all eSIM now. But that's pretty much all of it. So, what I had to say, I said this on my YouTube community. Oh, look at that! Didn't pull up. Okay, so let me pull this up now. That's the YouTube community and for my posts. I'll tell you my main takeaways from this, and I already told you that I couldn't watch it because of Jimmy Fallon, so I put it on mute. Oh, and that one other thing about the watch. Oh my goodness, that I don't like. I don't like what they did with that at all. So I put my three main takeaways. Number one, the Fold is IP68 water and dust rated. Nice. The Pixel Watch 4 has a new charger. Again, ugh, that is what I don't like. And third, MagSafe. So they call it Pixel Snap for Android via the Pixel Snap is neat. That's good. I actually have something to say about that because Samsung is currently selling this this charger that looks like a stand. It has a big one to hold the phone and a small one to hold your watch, and it has a little base to hold well, to charge another accessory. Could be the health ring or your earbuds. And I have a lot to say about that because it's $150. So I was able to get it from Samsung directly because Amazon and Best Buy were sold out from this thing for a while. So I ordered it a while ago. I didn't get to open it until recently, and I haven't been able to use the thing because I don't have a proper case for the Fold 7, to be able to snap onto it magnetically and hold it. I did get a sub case, but for $80, and it's a chunker, I didn't like the case, so I ended up returning that thing because as nice as it looked, and Flossie Carter, you're a bigger guy than I am, so maybe you'll be okay lugging around that big old thing, but I couldn't, man. I just couldn't. So I had to send it back. Even though I really like that red color, I couldn't keep up with that. That thing was too massive. So no likey for me. But at least for the watch, the one positive thing I could say, and I know a lot of us in the tech space have talked about it, because it has like this pebble dome on the watch, but for the first time, as I understand it, the screen under the dome is now curved with it too. So it'll look like a continuous display underneath instead of just being like the bezel. So I think that's pretty cool. It's just that it makes these watches are expensive. Okay, so the Pixel Watch 3 was a hefty price tag. And in trying to, let's say, want to trade in a Pixel Watch 3 for one of these things, I think they're saying though, and I have the largest size with the LTE. These bands cost like $50, $60 each, depending on which band you get for the watch. And I bought several of them. But the watch itself, they offer a trade-in of $130 for like a $500 plus watch. Like, is this a joke? Like, Samsung offers more for these things, and this is the most recent watch to try to upgrade to one of these. Like, I don't like that, and I have a lot to say about that, and we're gonna revisit that when I start covering Unplugged. So those are my thoughts on the Google event, and it just confirmed what I was saying last week. That doesn't mean it's like, oh, I'm all down about it. No, there's some great things that were announced that are going to come to the Pixel 9 Pro. So I was looking more of the software side, and I did care about the wearables because the wearables matter. So that's all I have to say about that. So now we're going to move on to the next topic before I get into the I'm talking to the about the unplugged phone. So this next part, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I have to, because this is in a way addressing a very many of you that have told me that I shill for unplugged phone. I had someone on X asking me, how much do I get paid to talk about unplugged? The answer is zero. They never paid me, and I want to be very transparent with this. They offered me an affiliate program. Okay, and let me just bring myself to the center. They offered me an affiliate program. I would say around fall last year, and I said I appreciate it. I would like to. It's just that I'm in the middle of actually testing the phone. So because I was testing it, I decided not to accept it, because people would think that my judgment is therefore affected by that. And look, every tech tuber out there has an affiliate, okay? Whether it's VPN, whether it's a chipset, MediaTek. Um, some of these phone companies are sponsoring them. They're even paying for their flights and things like that. I've been offered by tech companies to be paid for their product reviews. I turned them all away. Only two companies in the 9, 10 years I've been on YouTube. Half of that was just tech. Okay, that's before I started incorporating business and interviews and all that. So half of that time, I had a bunch of people coming up to me with companies and trying to pitch their products. I only almost inked a sponsorship deal twice. One of them was for financing, and the other one was for actual cases for real estate agents. If real estate's a field that I work in. So those didn't materialize for XYZ reasons. But every time someone pitched me their product, and even recently, a big name, and I called them out on this, I said, I'm not going to pitch a product that I never tested. How could I? I'm not going to tell you to go try something and I haven't put my hands on it. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it feels like. And I have my concerns about it. And so far, I think that that service might be a scam. So I talked about it before. I don't want to bring it up on this one. But with the unplugged phone, they're the only one of two companies that sent me their product, did not ask or talk to me in any way about editorial input or anything of the sort. And I feel that we've established a respectful relationship. And very similar happened with the Brax team, from Rob to Clement and all that, because they did offer me an affiliate too last year. And I said, I would like to, but I want to test this phone first. And now here we are all these months later, and I am testing the Brax 3. And that's going to be, it's a little more complicated to review than the unplugged phone was. So stay tuned for that. It's a little more complicated. It might not be the same. So the reason I'm saying all this is because even until right before I make this, before I went on live, people are still asking me, how much am I getting paid? Because it looked like I had the inside scoop on what Unplugged was doing. No, I just happen to pay attention and I read between the lines. And I'm always vigilant about tech news that matters to me. And Unplugged, I'm invested in their success simply because I feel they're filling a void that BlackBerry left. So if Kevin Mikola can bring BlackBerry back and go sign a petition and bring back BlackBerry.com, I would like to see that materialize. But until then, I believe Unplugged arrived at the right time, but they needed to prove themselves. And in my opinion, they have in the past year. So I can tell you I'm in talks to have the new CEO on the show. And I told them, like, because they saw my social media post that I was going to give you the walkthrough of the new firmware update, a look. This is beta, by the way. So a first look at what's coming, and they're like, "Oh, let's cut it at the pass just in case." I'm like, "No, don't worry about it. I'm not reviewing it. I know it might be buggy. I'm going to be looking for the bugs and report back to the team, as I've been doing for the past year that I've been on the beta program. I have been doing that. So I'm not doing a review on that. So I will review the one that ships with the phone, and I will be critical if it's not ready for prime time. So I said that much to them, and we're in talks to have the new CEO of Unplugged on the show. So for those of you that follow me long enough would know that, yeah, I'm a Trump guy. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not afraid of saying that. It's just that I don't find, unless the spot allows me to talk about politics, then we'll talk about politics. Usually I don't bring up the fight, but if you bring it up, I will finish it. But why do I preface this with that? because this is what I have to call out. I cannot stand this kind of nonsense. I was not going to talk about Trump Mobile, but they posted this, and now my response to them is gaining traction as of today because it looked like it was just sitting there as a reply. I posted this to Truth Social. I posted this to YouTube. I posted this on X, obviously. I think there was one more that I posted to. Oh, Instagram. And I cannot stand. I reached out to their PR team. I've emailed them repeatedly. I reached out through DMs. No one's responding, but they're shilling this thing. And technically, they're not Trump organization, but they are licensing the name. This is egregious. They posted this saying the wait is almost over. The T1 phone is powerful, sleek, and built with the features you need most. Pre-order today and be among the first to experience it. This is what they're showing. What the hell is that? Because I responded, like, that's a very different picture than the one on the website. This is what's on their website. I put the link, and this is the picture. Okay? And what makes it even more frustrating is that they have a different version of whatchamacallit, of this phone that looks like an iPhone superimposed like a Photoshop with the flag or something. Let me find it real quick. It's right here under X, unless they took it down. But this is what they put up, and I'll tell you why this is garnering a lot more attention, because my post as of I'm live now has 96 likes and over 4,000 views. Thank you very much for people that are checking it out, because this needs to be called out. And let me see. Let me find the media. It was one of their first posts. Let's see if they still have it there. Look at this. This is what they advertised as the new Trump mobile phone. The logo isn't there, but they put the Trump name on it, and they put this like an iPhone, because the only one they're advertising is the so-called gold version. All right, let me go back to the other posts, which is this one. This is the one that I responded to. This is even more egregious because when I first saw this picture, I'm like, that looks like a Samsung Galaxy. It could be an S24. It could be an S25, but it looks like it's wearing a case. It is really ugly. Well, guess what? As people were saying, you didn't even remove the watermark. Like, what watermark? What are they talking about? So I scrolled down, and there's Spigen responding with, bro, what? So this is Spigen with their logo here. Their logo is right here underneath the American flag. Like, what the hell? Whoever is running the social media and PR stuff for the company needs to be fired. And Trump Mobile, I'll say this again. You guys are not being transparent with the phone. I've said I don't care as much for the service or whatever. I think it's like what you're offering is competitive. But it is, how else can we read this? This is your website. This is the phone that you have for pre-order. That's not what you have on your social media site. And the social media has a case from a Korean case manufacturer named Spigen, a headquarters that I've been to because I'm not far from them. It is a scam to tell people that this is what they would be pre-ordering, and this is what you have on your website, seemingly an unfinished render of something that's supposed to launch soon. And it's incomplete, and you lied about this being built in America. It's not. Now you just say it's designed with American values in mind. Say, if you guys have plans for the next gen phone to be made in America, then say so. But that's not what this is, and you're shilling. Keep the service away from the phone. I wouldn't have said anything if you guys just launched the service. But you guys announced a phone at the same time. Don Jr., Eric Trump, this is on you guys. And this is on every single conservative media that's platformed them. And all you've done is shill for them. Okay? You guys are harder on Trump when you disagree on basic policy. This is trying to take away money from the base. I cannot stand it. So This is ridiculous, man. I wanted to pre-order this thing because, like, for science, I thought it would be pretty hilarious. But it's become more frustrating as time has gone by, and to see how the social media has done this. It's egregious, it's ridiculous, it's stupid. So for those of you calling me a shill for Unplugged, Trump's my guy, and I'm calling him all out because this is his name. I know it's not him involved in this company, but Don Jr.'s face all over it, and so is Eric Trump. And they even hired a model that looks a lot like Eric Trump walking around to pitch the services on their social media. So from far away, it's like, oh, look, it's Eric Trump pitching this. No, like, wait, that's not Eric Trump. Yeah, exactly. They try to make it look and almost sound like they're all pitching this thing. This is a company that is licensing the name and is bringing down the brand. That's my opinion. So that's I'm calling that out because that has not been the experience with Unplugged. So now let's move on to Unplugged. I'm gonna click that out too. This is the Best Buy website. Something a little lighthearted. The Best Buy website. It's so uncanny to see it here. That the Unplugged phone is coming. It's called Privacy Gray. It looked a lot sleeker and darker than in my eyes. So I called it Stealth Black. And who knows? It might be. So I don't think this is gonna make. I don't know if they're gonna be dummy phones at Best Buy, but you can shop for it on BestBuy.com. And yes, I do see you, Red Knight. I'm sorry, I was just in the middle of a rant. Let me just put your comment up. Will the Unplugged phone be available to Xfinity? You mean will Xfinity sell it, or you mean like will it work on Xfinity? Let me see. Xfinity, isn't that hold on. Let me see. Okay. I don't know why I thought that Xfinity might be affiliated with Verizon, but no, because it's Comcast. So let me go to Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Mobile. I'm pulling it up. You guys can't see it, but I am doing this in the background. Let me see if they have a bring your own thing here. So while I'm streaming and answering your question, I'm gonna check compatibility because I do have the Unplugged phone here in my hands. So let me type in the IMEI. I know there's individuals. Oh, you're asking if they will sell it. I have not, unless there's a deal with them. And in fact, let me go to the listing here for the next page that I was going to do. And this is unplugged.com. So let me go down to at the bottom. It highlights what it works with and view all. So let me see. Let's see here. All right, I don't see Xfinity explicitly listed here as a supported carrier, like if it's compatible with them or not. But it won't hurt to try the. I don't think they're gonna sell it, so we don't even know if it works on it. So let me just type in my IMEI in there, and let me answer your question live on the air. By the way, this is a format that I've been considering doing for the Brax 3 review, to be able to respond to the review in real time as I'm doing it, just because it's very different than, say, the Unplugged phone. It's not the same experience, and I'll explain better as time goes on. And I'll still be doing a comparison between the Unplugged phone and the Brax 3 device, because there are some differences. Okay, so let me see. IMEI. All right, so I got to go with the eSIM on this one. Okay. All right, let's see. All right, let me see if I got that right. Okay, let me see. Submitting. Okay. It's still going, so I'm gonna find out. I'll find out for you here. Unfortunately, your phone isn't compatible. So let me show you the results. So this is Xfinity Mobile. That's what they gave back to me. So the phone isn't compatible with them. So in short, they will not sell it. So bummer that they won't. And yeah, but I'll keep an eye out for any like perhaps future. Uh, See, the thing is, with this refresh of the phone, because that's what it is. It's a refresh. It's the same hardware, just with a different like I guess a fresh paint of coat is a fresh coat of paint is the better way to describe it. So, uh, yeah, so I'll keep an eye out for it, and I am constantly seeing if maybe Verizon compatibility can be restored to it. If that's the case, then I do wonder if an active SIM from Xfinity might work on it, because technically the modem here should support it. It's just that it's sometimes carriers the way that it's called oh my goodness, it's called APNs, access point note access point um number access point names, there we go. The access point names are thrown off for when you're trying to work with different towers and things, and I'm in a very populated area that's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, but anyway, okay. Thank you for your patience for those of you that have been watching. So this is now I'm gonna walk through this thing. Hey, wait, don't rush, don't rush. I'm trying to pause it. I didn't say remove it. Okay. All right, let me rewind. Okay, here we go. All right, so as a refresher, this is the old look of the um phone, and this is a firmware update that I was testing on beta that officially went official, I think, just about a month ago. So when I heard that they're gonna refresh the whole thing, I'm like, well, I didn't see that. Maybe it's in the alpha channel, but I don't have access to the alpha channel. I've been offered access to the alpha channel of the testing. So let me get that banner out of the way. It's bothering me. All right, there. No more. Okay, no more banner thunder. So when I saw that and that they're going to refresh it, I'm like, what would refresh would they do? And then when they dropped the announcement just over a week ago, I'm like, oh, this is a big one. That means you guys have been having another team, or maybe the same team, working to do a whole other thing. No, I found out that it's definitely an emphasis on the user experience. So this is an example of the last updates I was doing before the big beta one. Okay, so this is what the store looked like. I didn't even give you a walkthrough of the Unplugged store. So the Unplugged store is a whole reimagined thing, and if you can see, there's to the bottom right, this red square. That's the new icon for the Unplugged Messenger app. This is the new icon for the Unplugged Switch, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So they're pushing out the updates to the apps before they push out the big update for the whole look and feel. So I did update those things, and I was waiting to see what would happen here, but there was still no firmware update. But as you can see, the iconography was all updating one at a time. So I like seeing this. But strangely, the Unplugged Messenger, even though it's not called the Unplugged store anymore, it's called the App Center. The App Center, while it does show the updated icon, I uninstalled the Unplugged Messenger, I reinstalled it. It still shows the old one. So that was then, and even in the refresh one now that we're about to see. But this is what it looked like, and that's what I was showing you before the beta update that was pushed on August 18th. So let me tell you what this August 18th update brings. So the firmware is officially 2.00.85. They do a complete camera app UI redesign. So they reimagined the camera app. A complete redesign of the privacy center, which we're going to get a look at. The only thing I don't show you is the camera, but we'll get a look at the privacy center. the VPN and firewall statistics widgets to the left home screen, and you'll see what that looks like. Some screen time, added screen time usage. They updated the icons, most of them. New wallpaper. Yeah, about that. That's like system built because I cannot find out wallpaper in the phone. So I can't change the lock screen wallpaper to something that I've seen. I don't see it preloaded per se, but maybe I'm just not looking in the right folder. They fixed the double tap to sleep, which I'm glad because now it actually works. And they renamed the Unplugged applications. So the Unplugged store is the App Center. The Unplugged Privacy, the UP Privacy is now called Privacy Center. Now it's just, instead of Unplugged Support, it's just called Support. The Unplugged Messenger is just Messenger, and so on and so forth with antivirus and VPN. So those are the big changes, and this is what it will look like. So I'm going to narrate this video. Oh, and now I got to remove the comment, so less interference. Let me just pause this real quick. I don't want to remove, I want to pause it. Put it like this. All right, here we go. All right, let me rewind a bit. And sorry for those of you tuning in. I'm also have my allergies flared up, so I'm trying to employ the mute button as much as possible. So if I miss one, I'm sorry. But okay, this is the new look, and there's a whole new feel to it too. So I when I saw the update, I talked about it in my reviews that this was really a company that it was focusing on the features at the time before they could focus on the user design and experience, because that was something that we're going to be working along the way. So the difference is night and day compared to the old one that I just showed you, where it was gray. Some might feel it's a little depressing. I was fine with it. I think it was a good play on the colors, but now it's a whole different thing. The tone, the grittiness of the past, and maybe the stealth mode of the past is now made way for something more eye-catchy, more popping with visual color and feel. It's like I said, it's a night and day difference. So if the previous one was night, this one is day, and the new CEO is, I would say, poached from Apple. So you can see the Apple influences here with the design. So let's look at it. All right, it looks like I was dropping frames, so I hope I'm okay now. Okay. All right, so this is the look. Man, I might have to remaster this after the fact. What's up with the... Hold on. Am I dropping frames? Okay, well, I'm going to keep going. So, all right, here, let me pull this up again. So this is the new iconography. And you can see the Unplugged Messenger app is the other one that doesn't show the updated app icon, but everything else is just more eye-popping. It looks modern, it's sleek. This actually goes with material design, which is something that I like and enjoy. So that's good. This is all system-wide. So I think here's where I go to the settings. So the settings is, I ended up switching to dark mode because I was in dark mode, but after this big old firmware update, it's defaulted to the light version, which I didn't mind because it made it pleasing to look at. But the wallpaper itself is dark, and on an AMOLED display, it's always better. So let me see if it's gonna pull up. Okay, dude, is the internet really laggy now? What the hell's going on? But okay, so now this is dark mode, and that's not drop frames anymore. That's actually because I did a fresh restart on the phone and it needed a little bit to kind of actualize. So the first few movements to it was a little glitchy. But this is the look at the widget. So for those of you on Android, you swipe to the left, you'll get like this briefing like Google Home. This is kind of the same principle. So you get all these quick controls at the top, like Bluetooth, microphone, camera, location, which is really cool. You turn off the microphone here on this widget and you try to turn on Bluetooth from the shade, the notification shade, you will not be able to. You'll get this error thing that pops up and it'll say that it's blocked by the Privacy App Center. And oh my goodness, this thing's like really dropping frames for you guys. So let me just try to pause right here. Let me see. How's that looking like for you guys? Because this is, what is going on? If I have to pre-record the stream because it's like looking really bad, then I will do so. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, it's just freezing on my end. So I'm looking at the replay. I rewinded on one of the lives. So it looks like we're okay. So I'll power along. You guys are seeing it, even though it's dropping for some reason on my side. Okay, so let's resume. So now here, this is where it's called they call it the firewall now. So let me resume play, and I'm gonna keep playing the stream to make sure that it's still going. Man, it's really glitchy. So that's what I said. This is like truly inspired by whatchamacallit. It's inspired by the Apple Health. So imagine Apple Health, but it's for your trackers. So this thing's blocking trackers. I didn't know that Lightroom was the one that was leeching the most or communicating the most. You can actually go through the options here. You can see the usage. You can go over to the controls, and you can. This is like a reimagining of the privacy app that they had before. I gave a walkthrough of it after they did a big refresh with it. They revisited the whole thing and did it this way, which is pretty nice. So after the controls, you get to access, and access is basically where you can reconfigure some of the things like your fingerprint, the shortcut buttons, lost mode just in case, and scheduled reboot. So this is all to say that there's a lot of customizations that you can do with this with these options. Like if you go to what is the cold lock protection feature, that's like a scheduled reboot. Um, it's like a dropping frames for myself again. So I'm actually looking at this cold lock protection feature. So that's where this one is a safeguard device. This feature is oh, the just in case. That's right. And then they still have the self-destruct, but I've been told that they're gonna imagine this, well, at least relabel it. Instead of self-destruct, they're gonna call it emergency reset. But the feature's still there. So they're relabeling just about everything. They're rebranding for the big relaunch. If for those of you guys that didn't see it, what's their names? Best Buy has this, and on Best Buy, it shows that it'll be shipping at the end of September. But if you see it on Unplugged themselves, they say that mid-September. So maybe mid-September they'll be fulfilling shipments. We'll have to see about that. So the privacy button, you can actually add shortcuts to it. So you can actually do a single click, double click, triple click, and press to hold for long press. So for me, what I mapped it to was just having the shortcut be like my digital assistant, because one of the bugs that the software has is that if you have a digital assistant, when I tested this phone for my review the first time, it showed it was what was it? And I think the video is done. All right, let me take the video off because I think that was making it a little difficult for myself. Okay, so when I tested the Unplugged phone for the review, when you swipe up from the side here, you can have it set up that it triggers a digital assistant. And I did have that. It was mapped to Firefox because it came preloaded. Sorry, folks, my allergies are flaring up. And you could have had Firefox, you could have had Brave browser, you could have had Copilot and Alexa all mapped if you wanted to try it out. And people ask, why would you put Alexa in there? So, hey, you guys asked me what works and what doesn't. So I was testing everything, okay? And I'll give you a little bit of a tease as to what might be coming down the pipeline. So with all that is to say that that was there. So in subsequent updates, that was removed. So now when I go to settings, and I'm going to do this here with you guys. So I'm going to settings, and I'm going to type in assistant. So digital assistant app shows that I don't have one. So if I hit default, it shows that I have none. And that's interesting because all the apps that worked before, they don't show up as an assistant anymore. So I don't know what is causing this to not read those other assistant apps as assistants, because you were able to use a search engine as an assistant, such as DuckDuckGo, Mozilla, Brave, and actual assistants would be like Microsoft's Copilot, because that was, you can get that in the App Center. The same thing with Alexa. You were able to get it and map it over. So then when you swipe up, kind of like you Google or whatever, you were able to call those on command. So it gives the whole experience that we were all expecting. But now you can't map anything. So that's why I took to, this is the privacy center. So when I click it, I press and hold, it launches the firewall. Okay, so this is the look and feel of the firewall. And since I turned it on, Lightroom is the one that's been trying to get us a lot of these trackers, 756 now. And the Authenticator app is the second one that's calling out. X has only done 2 in that time frame. So interestingly enough, Microsoft's, those are the apps that are really doing a lot of calling, but Lightroom, I didn't expect that. So I might have to rethink having Lightroom installed in here, but at least it's being blocked. And I know it's Adobe. So, okay. So which ones are showing you? Digital Assistant. So let me go back to the Digital Assistant, where you swipe up, not display, or maybe display. Navigation. Okay, navigation. Okay, so in the gesture navigation, because this is what I have, so you were supposed to press and hold here and it would launch Google Home. From here to the corners is where you would trigger the assistant. So you can have that turned on or off, and what sensitivity you wanted these things to be. So swipe to invoke assistant is on, but right now it's not triggering anything because it doesn't read that I have an assistant in here, and I think I do have Copilot installed. So Office Suite, yes, I do have Copilot right here. I don't use it, I don't care. But the point is that it's there, along with I think I put Alexa in here. No, I don't have Alexa in here, but I had it in here, and so it's not mapping over. So this is all beta. And I'm looking for these things to report to the team and let them know, because they pushed this out August 18th, and it's a very phenomenal update. The look and feel, the booting up logos are different. I think I had a video here of it. I think I took a video on with my folding device. Let me see. I had to have. Yeah, I did. So you know what? Because I can't. I wasn't intending on sharing this, but we're here, so why not? Okay. All right, so I'll leave it from here. So if you'll see, this is when it was booting up after the first update, and right there, it's kind of bright, right? So that's what it looks like now when you boot up. And when you boot up, it'll land on the home page. And it does take a little bit. I'm still forwarding. It's about 30 seconds. All right. Yeah, it was a pretty lengthy boot time for the first time. So then when it's getting to the end of this clip, that's when it launches. Then you unlock, and when you unlock is where you see this new look and feel. There you go. So I like what I'm seeing, is what I'm saying. And well, we'll find out if this all materializes something that'll be primed and ready for prime time, because I know they're under a lot of pressure right now. They announced that they're launching this phone, and they got a ton of stuff down the pipeline. To which I say this: this is not an Unplugged 2 phone that's coming out. It is the realization of all this feedback from the past year, like my videos, you as a customer, your input to them. They've been talking to customers. At least that's what they've told me, and I imagine they have, because the only way they were able to focus on what to do and what not to do. And what I do know for sure, and that was a suggestion to, so they don't have to do so much, was to really focus on the things that matter. And with them focusing on, say, the camera, that's a pretty big deal. And they made it a lot more simple, where it doesn't have that many options. I can't show you right now, but it only has video, photo, portrait, and panorama. Now, that's just the UI that's been reimagined. But I was told by Unplugged, hey, do a camera test if you can, so you can test out the algorithms they've been working on for the phone. So I'm like, well, I intend to. But since this is beta, I can't give a verdict on it. See, it's just that I will test. get a feel for it. I'll compare to the old photos that I have taken because I do have all of them, and I'm gonna wait for the hopefully the official software that pushed out, because this is through the beta. So once they push out the official, that's the one that I want to revisit and review, because I have to treat it like it's a whole new thing. And it's to that I say, because people have asked me to find out when there will be an unplugged phone 2. This is as close as it would be, but I wouldn't say that it's prudent. I come from the business world, okay? I'm trying to get this phone out there to the masses. I have questions myself, like where's the global rollout, or is this the one that they intend to roll out globally? Because that'd be pretty cool to see it materialize. Now, with this, seeing how difficult it is just to ship a first gen product, I would not focus on a Gen 2 product into Gen 1 is refined for the masses and the markets are entered. Or else it's like starting from square one and running into those same problems. And we want this hardware to be supported. That's the big test. How long can this run for? I was just because I'm researching for my Brax 3 update, I went back to see my first video on it. What is the Brax 3? Oh, excuse me. So I went back to check out my review on my first look at the like what is the Brax 3 video, and in it I remember playing Rob's video where he announces it, and that they want to support the hardware for years. That's years. So I'm like, well, that's exactly it. If they have that much faith in their hardware, which is MediaTek and all these other things, well, we want the same thing for this one. I don't want to just like chuck it and give me the new one, just like Google wants you to do with the Google 10s. Yeah, that's what I said. I don't think it's worthwhile. But hey, it's your money. You do what you're going to do with your money. But the thing is, I want my hardware that I'm using now to be supported. These things can get those new features, so pass the new features on to me. But what they're trying to do is just make you recycle your old hardware. These guys save money not having to redo these chips, and then they resell you the phone with the product that you used to have, and now you're paying more because they're saying, oh, we have recycled parts, because we're thinking, for our climate, for our environment, we're being environmentally responsible by you selling us at bottom tier your phone that's still so good, and we're reusing those parts, and we're selling you a new phone, and you're paying above market. That's what they're doing, and I'm sick of it. And the worst part of it is that they're taking more and more out of the box every time, saying that they're environmentally friendly, but they'll sell you that like the brick, like for the wall adapter. They'll sell it in a massive packaging for you, because then you realize that, hey, those charging speeds you guys talking about, I need that special brick because it won't work with the one I have at home. Oh, so 20, 30, 40 bucks over here, unless you're smart enough to know that you can buy actual good ones from, I don't want to mention the names because they're not sponsoring me, but that would be some on Amazon. But even that's hard to find if you can trust them. So I'm not interested as much as an Unplugged 2 phone as I am on them refining this device, because I know they can get a lot of mileage out of this, and I want to see how far they go with their updates. And so far, so good that I have seen. And for a whole new audience that's going to see an eye-popping color, because if this is all going orange, that means the packaging of the box is going to be different. It's not going to be the whole character here, right there. It's not going to be him anymore. So that's going to be interesting. Oh, speaking of which, I'm going to share this screen now. I want to point this out because I'm like, that's a good stopgap. Okay. Oh, no, that's not the one I'm sharing. I'm sharing this. I already went through that. Yeah, this was causing the problems. Let me remove from the studio. Okay. There we go. It was causing me problems. All right. So with the Unplugged phone, let's check out the accessories here, because these are still the things that I have. These are it skins. So I have the ballistic nylon case. But if you'll notice, right here, as I was, it's just a different look and feel. This thing has a cutout for the old logo. So someone asked me, because this one is the hybrid color case, and it's like, well, are they going to have new versions where it hides the cutout? Because imagine getting that for the new phones. Good question to ask. I'll find out. So this was the screen protector that comes pre-installed and that I ordered. It looks like now they have a privacy screen protector. So this is the one that's it's kind of like tinted from an angle, so you can't just peek over someone's head and try to get their information. So that's pretty cool. But this one here is the one that interests me the most. So let's open this up. There was a user, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name. It's been a long time. So there are no there's no tap to pay with open with privacy focused OSs unless there is some sort of compatibility layer put up to work with wallets. So while you can have banking apps, that doesn't mean that you'll be able to get like a digital wallet to be able to tap to pay. So something like Google Wallet will not work because they'll notice that the bootloader was tampered with. So for security purposes, they will not work with those kind of devices, like open source privacy focused OSs. However, someone told me just put your credit card or your debit card, slide it in between the case and the phone, and use that as tap to pay. I'm like, that's actually pretty smart. I think I mentioned that in one of my streams, so like a long time ago. Well, that's why I'm like, hey, this is a great stopgap. They have a wallet case now, and you can do just that. So for those of us that want to tap to pay, and we normally just use the one card, there's the one card you can use, as long as it's physical. So I think that's pretty smart to address that right there. Yeah, good on you, Unplugged, for thinking about that. So we'll see about that. So what I'm curious about most of all, though, because we're seeing the rebranding on the website, I don't see that like coming down to the the packaging. And I will say this much: when I ordered the screen protector, this was like very early on in Unplugged days. I didn't get it in a box, like a branded box. It was just like in like this foam wrap, which I didn't mind. This was extra screen. But now it looks like they have packaging for it. So I'm imagining that they're gonna repackage all of those things, or at the very least sell off the first batches. That they're not gonna throw that away, or that'd be stupid. To throw away the old packaging, but at least they'll use up the old branding and then make room for the new. That's what I would do because that's efficient with the funds. So so yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. And I will tease about this because I did notice it. What is this oh my goodness, I can't speak now. Compatibility layer that's being added that I don't think I saw it in this firmware update, or if it's coming. I think I read it in the news release. But it looks like one of the things about open source of these is that unless you have like a micro G thing that can kind of do like a patched version of Google mobile services or Google Play services, you can't get pushed notifications. This is going to be one way to be able to do it. So I don't know if it's going to be micro G or something that's going to be here, if you can side load it, or if it's going to be preloaded. But there's talks about a compatibility layer, and I'm assuming that addresses that, because then I'll be like, this is going to be a completely different experience than the first Unplugged phone. Where the first one felt kind of alpha, and then the beta with the beta software felt like a more realized, fully fledged phone. I even said as much when I reviewed that on the beta build. So what they're going to launch now, or relaunch now, it's going to feel like that's the proper phone. So to that end, I'm going to be switching over to some comments and questions because someone asked. They didn't ask me, but I did see the comment. I saw it over on X. They asked, will there be a buyback program from the first customers that bought the Unplugged phone that want to experience the new? Now the software is trickling down to the older looking model. It's the same model. It's just, the new version, what they call on Best Buy, they call this privacy gray. So it might be more gray than it is black. That just might be the color coding here. But that's all to say that there's some people that are interested in the new look and feel and are interested in selling their old phones. So I don't know what that will look like. I didn't see an answer to that at the time, and I can't find a comment, but it'll be interesting to see. And because I'm in talks to have the CEO, I will bring it up. So if you guys have questions, you guys know, You guys can reach out to me across the socials. Some of you already have, especially since the last stream. You've already submitted questions. You can continue to submit them over on X. You find any of my unplugged content, you can leave a comment there. This I think I'll be rebroadcasting the stream to X later. So if you see it there, you can comment on there and I'll find it. But the thing is, you have to understand that how the way that X works, it only sends me notifications from verified users. I don't know why that is. I don't remember seeing a toggle switch for that. So there's people that are unverified that are legit individuals that I don't get notifications from, and unless I check it, and I get a cascade of notifications, okay? Unless I check them manually, I don't normally see them until like way later because I have to clear out everything. So I don't like to play favorites when it comes to social media, but I am active on some more so than others, such as Instagram, Parler, and X. But I believe in being uncancelable. So I'm across like 12 different social media platforms, and you can reach out to me on almost any of them, okay? Because I will check those notifications. So that's to say that I treat them like chat rooms in a way, because you just never know. With the exception of Telegram, I get too much spam there. I stopped checking Telegram. I check it like once a blue moon. But you can follow my show on Telegram. It's just that it's become really difficult as people just try to, you know, try to catch me for some information and stuff like that. I'm like, are you here to, to just contribute to the show, or are you trying to get me to work with you? I'm not interested in being reached out to like that, especially on Telegram. It's just I have trust issues on Telegram. But anyway, so keep sending in your comments. Anything that's relevant, I'll be pitching it to the new CEO, Joe. And if we can make it work, hopefully we'll have the interview before the relaunch, which is what I really care about, because it's kind of teasing what's coming. But at the same time, I don't want to pigeonhole the interview to just be something that kind of expires over time. I want them on the record so that we can all hold them accountable. Okay, that is the whole purpose for why I do what I do, and you guys allow me to be your voice. If someone's on the record, we can always point back to, but you said this, but you said that. And so far, I could tell you that those on Unplugged that have gone on the record, everything that they said they would do has come to pass, and that's why they've earned my respect. And that's why I tell them, look, I send them suggestions because I'm like, you guys need to fill in this BlackBerry void, and if you guys can pull these things off, man, that's going to be awesome. So we'll see where this goes. I like to see it. And there's some things that I've been privy to that I'm not going to talk about yet, that I like to bring them up when I'm with the CEO, because then I can. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I since I was going over some comments, and remember to go ahead and send them. Don't leave them on any live chats though, because those are really difficult to pull back up. I need to segue out of tech and address the episode I dropped this week for my show, and that was my my interview with the host of Crossroads from the Epoch Times, Joshua Phillips. And let me see where the comments. There it is. I don't know what's going on with YouTube comments. Sometimes they disappear. Their filters are a little off, so it's a little odd. I'm not gonna last much longer. This I took an allergy pill, but man, let me try to get through this. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen it, we do touch on tech, because there's rising tensions, as there always has been, between Taiwan and China, and now it's getting even more so. And I am resolute and absolute in that Taiwan is an independent sovereign state. And I do not say that tongue in cheek. I mean it, and I believe it, and so do the Taiwanese. The ones that disagree are the Chinese nationals. Now, I want to preface something here. This is going to sound very political to a lot of you that are tuning in, and that's okay, because I need to preface this because I have fundamental disagreements with the commenter. However, I am so appreciative of this commenter taking the time to make some of the best arguments I have heard from that other side in the viewpoints with the Taiwan and Chinese conflict. So If you guys haven't tuned into it, by all means, go check it out. It's up across everything. I had Joshua Phillips, the host of Crossroads, over on the Epoch Times. He and I had met before, like 2 months ago. He was giving a speech in Southern California, and I was invited by Epoch Times. Hey, you should meet him. So we got to meet. We got to talking before and after the fact, and it was a great time. And I'm like, you know what? Because he made the best comment because um, I'm married to a Taiwanese. That's why I'm close to all this, and I love tech, and I just see like, dude, almost everything comes from Taiwan. Um, we're gonna be manufacturing chips here in the near future, or en masse in the near future. But will it be enough? I don't know. But Unplugged seems to think so because they're intending to build in the USA the next gen phones. Will it be the same price though? We'll have to see about that. Well, anyway, so to that effect, I've always been interested in foreign relations and all this and that, but this particular thing with Taiwan and China has flown under the radar, I feel, for many of our leaders. The old guard, when I mean the old guard, I mean the more senior generation, like those of my parents and all of them, they still live in the whole it's the Russians, they're the enemies, and all this. And the same Democrats that told us that the Russians being the enemy was old foreign policy, like the grandfathers of the parents' foreign policy. They're the ones telling you that Russia is the big bad simply because they wanted Trump to look bad, knowing that the Russia thing is a hoax. Okay, so that is a hoax, has been a hoax. For those of us that are in the know, we knew that was a hoax, and now we have more proof positive that is the case. So it's really made things difficult to have an impartial discussion on anything, particularly when it comes to Russia and Ukraine. I take no sides in that war. I say I don't want us involved at any level in that war. But to the old guard, if I am not supporting Ukraine at any means possible, I must be a Putin stooge. Like, what the hell? How did you go from that inferential leap? But that's what brainwashing does with the propaganda on the media. Okay, so to that effect, a lot of us are distracted by a lot of the stuff happening in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Some things that literally do not affect us unless they're dragging us into these conflicts. Okay, but one such conflict that is brewing that has consequences for the absolute whole world, and we have understanding with the region that we would get involved, is with Taiwan. What China intends to do, they've talked about it for a long, long time. So for a lot of Taiwanese natives, to them, China is all talk. So for now, Taiwanese to wake up to the fact that, hey, this is real. It's almost game time. It's like people are finally waking up. Yeah, I told you. But the problem is that in the past 15 years, Taiwan, the government, and tune into my episode with Joshua Phillips and you get a more contextual understanding of the history of the conflict and where it could be going. And who knows, maybe there is a way to make a buffer in case this does happen, that China wants to get the chips but may not be able to get it. Because I make the argument that in today's day and age, with how fast technology is developing and how important chipsets are to AI, and that's everybody that's getting into this thing, then Taiwan is as close to a natural resource as it gets with all the knowledge of the chipsets, because at any given point in time, 80% of the world's chips come from them. Why? I don't know, but we have Taiwanese engineers teaching Americans to be able to do it here. A Taiwan Semiconductor Company is, I believe, in Phoenix, Arizona, or with their factory to start building, or they are building, but when will they get to reach a peak where they're able to produce in mass reliable chips to be able to get them into the U.S. market? And then being able to ship out to the rest of the world. I don't know, but better late than never, honestly. So to all that, there's an understanding that certain countries in the Indo-Pacific region are meant to come to Taiwan's defense. It was like a treaty, or understood treaty, that's United States is one of them, Australia being another, possibly South Korea, Japan, and others, maybe even the Philippines. The Philippines and the United States are kind of like brothers in this case, where it's like, you go, I go, bro, we go. That's kind of how it is. But just a week or two ago, Pete Hegseth, the U.S. Defense Department, was asking the Indo-Pacific allies what their commitment is to the defense of Taiwan. And as I understood it, Australia said pretty much that they're not. And Japan and South Korea are technically in, but Japan's like, but it's really on Taiwan. So as of this morning, very early this morning, let me read this out to you guys. This was Visgard, I believe, was the one that reported it. Visgard put up Taiwan to massively hike 2026 defense budget to $31.3 billion. Taiwan announced a 23% surge in defense spending for 2026, reaching $31.3 billion for the first time above 3.32 of GDP since 2009, driven by Chinese threats and U.S. calls. The budget now includes for all these other things. Everybody's understanding that it's getting really, really tense out there. So I put out my video, which I think came at the right time. And a commenter put up on the video, and I noticed when they were making the comments, they made 2 comments, and I'll read the kind of the latter one, and I'll come back to the first one because this is kind of criticism against me. Well, they're both criticism against me and Josh. So I really wish these 2 guys. This is from I think I'm pronouncing it right. King Zhao 9983. I really wish these 2 guys could convince U.S. government with their view that China is so bad that it's going to collapse soon. Then they will, by their ignorance, really contribute to the world peace. Even the Chinese people will thank them, even though they are biased against China. What he's referring to is that in the conversation we talk about how the Chinese economy, not only is it a Ponzi scheme, it's based on a lot of lies by the CCP. That is a given. But the thing is, the world view from the Chinese nationals, they're shielded from all that. So when I tell you that I have Taiwanese family that are confronted by Chinese Americans here and told that no, they are Chinese, and they get into these arguments, it can get pretty ugly. A family member of mine went to the pharmacy, and somehow Chinese Taiwan got brought up, and the guy behind the counter was apparently from the mainland China, and he just turned red and was saying, "No, Taiwan is China, and it belongs to China, and this and that." Like my family member was like, "I'm just here to pick up the medicine, man." It's just so these things can get very testy. So I wasn't surprised to see someone criticizing me for my statement that I made that Taiwan is an independent and sovereign nation. Because I did some research and I knew it was going to be like this. I have Taiwanese family, okay? I'm married into it. I know how they think, how they express themselves from the mainland to the ones that are here too. But then when you check the sources here with big tech and all that, that includes X, by the way, because Elon's very friendly with China. And I bring that up in that conversation. Check it out. So I have my concerns about when I ask Grok, for example. It's like, when did Taiwan declare its independence? And they said, well, technically they didn't. There's no formal thing and all this and that. Like, well, that kind of gives point to the commenter. This was the original comment that this commenter made. And keep in mind that I actually appreciate this. I never heard someone put it like this together. The commenter wrote, "What a joke. Can you find a country called Taiwan since World War II? Any valid proof, like formal international document or agreement? On what ground could you claim Taiwan is and has been an independent sovereign country? Taiwan issue is an unfinished Chinese Civil War since 1949. There is a government called Republic of China ruling Taiwan since 1949. You need to get that straight. I am okay if you are supporting Taiwan becomes independence, but please do not lie. This will only destroy your credibility." Now, this individual, I'm assuming this is the first time they see me talk about anything Taiwan Chinese related. For anybody that follow me long enough, you will know that I talk about this almost on the daily, especially if you're on Instagram, because I cover my Instagram stories. I do news and commentaries. You can check it out there. So I say I don't play favorites, but my biggest audience and engaged audience is on Instagram, and I'm mostly on the stories. But when I saw that, I'm like, these are actually really good points. I never saw someone put them all together because, yes, I am aware of this. To which I responded, "Thank you for watching. Taiwan operates as a self-governing democracy with its own government, military, and economy. effectively functioning as independent. And you are correct in that it operates under the framework of the Republic of China, because technically they are the ROC. They're just not the People's Republic of China. My point is that it has not and never has been ruled by the Chinese Communist Party. So to that end is to say that the CCP says they want to reunify China, like reunify. You never ruled Taiwan. You never have. So back to the point that he was making, though, where he said the Taiwan issue is an unfinished Chinese civil war since 1949. I'm so glad that this individual put that out there, because I showed these comments to my wife, and that really ruffled some feathers. Like, what? How? Why would they say that? And I knew that it would ruffle her feathers because the Taiwanese do not see it that way. It's like, doesn't it take two to tango to be in a war? One side is adamant that we got to finish this fight. We're going to take Taiwan because it belongs to us. And then Taiwanese are like, hey, we have commerce together. Why you need to come over here? And that's just it. The Taiwanese don't see themselves at war with China. They see themselves as neighboring countries. And there's a lot more to this too, because I was in Taiwan for the 100th year celebration of Taiwan. Taiwan. That's how I know, because I was there and I didn't know I was there for that. That was in 2012. Taiwan itself, as the Taiwanese know it, was born in 1912. Then the Japanese came along and whatever, and all these other things, because that region, just like the Middle East and Europe and all that, war's been happening for the longest time. But therein comes the point that we have a differing worldview. So I appreciate the next comment, and that was the last comment that this individual made. Her name is King Zhao. I think I said that right. 9983. Responded to my comment by saying, you are right that the CCP and the People's Republic of China never ruled Taiwan. Because this is an unfinished Chinese civil war. The importance of this fact is for anyone who supports Taiwan to really understand the determination of the CCP, the PRC, for its unification. PRC is willing and preparing to fight with U.S. Navy for the unification of Taiwan, just like the Korean War. Anyone who discusses Taiwan issue has the responsibility to make the danger of war clear. Otherwise, she is driving Taiwan towards a disaster worse than Ukraine without informing them. And I agree with the conclusion. I disagree with the premise. China has CCP has no right to that territory. They just, in their mind, believe that they do. Hence, they want to pull through what they said. So, is it true that Xi Jinping told Trump that, hey, I promise you that won't invade during your tenure? I don't believe that. Sorry, Trump, I don't believe that at all. It's like, and if they did promise that, it means nothing. Their promises mean nothing. Just like them signing climate accords means nothing. They're the worst polluters and the worst violators of human rights in the world by far. By far. Human rights violations too. I think that's what I said, right? But anyway, I appreciate you, King Zhao, for your contributions to this, because while I have fundamental disagreements in our worldview here, because I do not view that this is a civil war that's still going on. It's just been on hold for like 70, 80 years. No, I don't believe that in the slightest. But the important part is that the CCP believes it. And that is through their propaganda, what they're trying to teach the people. And I want to be very clear, because this is something that in one of your other harsher comments you put, where is it? Right here. Even though they are biased against China, I want to be very clear. I want to see the Chinese Communist Party fail. I want to see them gone. The Chinese people are subjugated to a tyranny, authoritative, dictatorship government where you cannot freely think, feel, or express yourself. The people that live there live under a social credit system. And anything and everything of this can be taken away if you do not fall in line with the government and their policies. Look at what they're doing to the Uyghurs. Look at what they do to the Christians in the underground churches. The biggest Christian church in the world is in China, and it's underground. There is no freedom in China. And with all these propagandists on social media pulling like, look how forward China is. Look, I don't question their engineering. They can be really, really good, but let's not kid ourselves. Because of a lot of cost cuttings and shortcuts, there's a lot of faulty building over there too. That's why some buildings just collapse. There's cities out there built and nobody lives in them. There are airports to nowhere, roads to nowhere. China is a very big landmass. And about half of the country lives in advert poverty. And we're talking about 2 billion people and 1 billion people live in poverty, starvation. That's communism. There is no common. You go to Shanghai, you go to Beijing, you'll see these beautiful cities. Now, is that the same for everywhere else in China? No, it's not. Not in the slightest. And I thought communism was about being common or all of them being equal. So why is there no equality over there? So our disagreements stem from a fundamental different worldview, but the conclusion is the same. I agree 100% with what you just said about the war drums here. And that's the point that I made at the beginning of the video. Thank you very much for everybody to watch this. I might clip this out just to be on its own. This whole thing about the discussion in China, because I believe it's important, and it serves as an epilogue to my episode that I just did recently with my guest Joshua Phillips. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out, please. That's it for this one. Thank you so very much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and stay in the know. Follow me across the socials at @TheAndreSegovia on X _AndreSegovia. Anything and everything about me can be found at TheAndreSegovia.com. And hopefully I get my voice back because these allergies are killing me. But anyway, I appreciate your patience. Thank you so very much. And I'll see you in the next one.